Aisha radiallahu anha is used as a proof for why women can teach men, as well as a proof for why women cannot teach men unless she is unseen by men. There's a verse mentioned in relationship to this in which some scholars, such as Al-Qurtubi and Ibn Kathir, mention are for the mothers of the believers, but also women in general. And this is the ayah, وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, generally means to stay in your homes. But in another qira'ah, it's وَقِرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ, which Imam al-Baghawi and al-Tabari both mention means to settle and be tranquil in the home. Ibn Battal, Ibn Arabi, and Ibn Hajar all mention that in this is evidence that it is not an obligation for women to stay home. Shinqiti mentions that it's the default for women and for men to be out and about, and that staying in one's home is not the default. The women companions were actively involved in society, as can be seen from numerous narrations in Bukhari and Muslim. There's a fabricated statement to Fatima radiallahu anha in which she states, "Most of women are those who are not seen by men or who see men," and the Prophet ﷺ praises her. In reality, the Prophet ﷺ would see her in public, and there are too many narrations of women who were actively narrating what happened in public because they were present on the battlefield, in the masjid, in the market. There's another verse of the Quran that says, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُنَّ مَتَاعًا فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. Different discussion, but Sheikh Akram Nadawi mentions that this verse was talking about when you're going to seek knowledge from a mother of the believer, you are the one who has to do the work, not her who has to put on a hijab, which is work. So when you go to their home, speak to them from behind a curtain so that she doesn't have to wear hijab, because she should be comfortable in her home. When she comes out of the house, she wears hijab. Imam Malik, As-Subki, As-Sakhawi, and so many others like Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, and uncountable more, all were taught by women scholars. Sittul Wazara was invited to a masjid in Cairo to lecture to men and women, and hundreds came. Darda As-Sughra would teach at the Dome of the Rock, and the Khalif himself would come and sit in her classes. Sheikh Fatima al-Khair is narrated to have been sitting with her back resting against the place of the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, narrating hadith while the men would listen to her narrations, and then she would write ijazah by hand for them. Sheikh bin Baz himself said that it is permissible for women to give da'wah on television if she is wearing niqab, but that's because he held that niqab is an obligation. So this discussion goes back to a lot of issues, or the meaning of the verses and the differences of interpretation, but also said ad-dhara'i' really, which is preventing the means to evil. Today, our society is filled with so much more than a woman in hijab, mainly talking to Islam. It's upon the person who claims it's haram to bring the burden of clear proof that it's